Hi, my name is Elle Hong, and I am the Teacher Professional Development Manager with Think 360 Arts for Learning. I currently serve as the Greater Denver Wolf Trap Affiliate Director. Serving as the Greater Denver Wolf Trap Affiliate Director means that I do logistics and organization and administration and planning for all Wolf Trap related residencies. Wolf Trap, currently our model utilizes 9 30-minute classroom sessions with teaching artists who are trained from trainers at Wolf Trap National. So we get folks from National, which they're based in Washington, DC, and then they come down and engage with, now we have about 11 artists who are trained in Wolf Trap methods, in early language, early math. Some folks are trained in math, literacy, locomotor movement, and developing various social and emotional learning skills. In 2019, we were selected as the Greater Denver Area Serving affiliate of Wolf Trap Institute for Early Learning Through the Arts. The pandemic happened and our program took a little bit of a pause, a little bit of reworking. There were some virtual residencies during our pilot year, which was 2020. We came back in 2021 to 22 with 7 residencies. The next year we bumped up to 20 residencies. And this year we are projecting up to 25 residencies. So we're quickly growing and we're quickly trying to respond to the need and the desire for Wolf Trap residencies, which span throughout all genres of performing arts: music, dance, puppetry, storytelling. What our mission is to address a sort of lack of arts access. We primarily serve Title I or low to moderate income schools. So these are folks who might not necessarily have specials or might not have arts budgets or arts programming. So related more towards our larger organization's mission is trying to increase access to the arts. And overall, this program in particular is engaged in a sort of systems level work that's trying to address inequities within various socioeconomic systems. So this is sort of talking about like addressing inequities in access to art, in access to early literacy, in academic preparedness upon entering elementary school. So our work is engaged in all of that in a very creative, joyful, and fun way. I think that Wolf Trap really differs from other Think 360 programming. One, because it is specifically early childhood serving. And not only is it arts workshops for ECE aged students, that can be 2 to 5-year-olds, but it's also a professional development program. It's a long-term professional development for early childhood teachers and educators and caregivers in arts integration, social-emotional learning, which folks have really expressed the need for the development of those skills, especially during the time of the pandemic, where folks are coming out of a time of deep isolation, so really learning how to regulate our own emotions, and how to check in with one another and name our emotions and express our emotions. Sort of dual positioning as both arts workshops and professional development to address this sort of trend in burnout. Perhaps we're trying to equip folks with more skills and more abilities to bring joy into the classroom, but also with this sense of joy that art brings, hopefully that also provides more incentive for folks to want to continue teaching. I do think that what we do offers a lot of these sort of methods in which we get to infuse our classroom environments, or at least classroom teachers get the opportunity to incorporate arts and to be able to rely on these sort of strategies that they've gained from Wolf Trap that will, you know, potentially be like some folks' only arts experiences, or, you know, potentially leave a very lasting impact on folks. I can speak like from my own experience that I hold like all the arts experiences that I received as a young child really like paved the way for me to be able to pursue a career currently in the arts. And I think that that sort of early exposure to the arts and being able to think through the world in a creative lens sets folks up very well for critical thinking and being able to enter elementary school and keep up. We've had multiple teachers state that this is like the best professional development experience that they've ever received. They get an opportunity to work with professional artists working throughout all of Colorado. They gain new approaches to teaching and pedagogy that are infused with the arts, and they're sort of inseparable. And we employ what's called a gradual release method or gradual release model. So towards the sort of like beginning and middle of a residency, a 9-session residency, you'll have the teaching artist doing a lot more facilitation of those sort of pedagogical skills, those sort of arts integration skills. And then the latter portion of the residency, which is the last 3 sessions, the teaching artist is really handing off that facilitation to the teacher. So even though, you know, this is like a temporary sort of program, once the artist is gone, that teacher will still have those skills moving forward into their teaching practice, hopefully for a very long time. And yeah, I think that's a huge sort of benefit, is that we're providing people with something that is useful beyond just the duration of the programming that we provide. I had a planning meeting with one of the teachers who was working with a dancer from Cleo Parker Robinson Dance, Rihanna Cranston. What is currently making the residency go so well is the teacher's like openness and receptiveness to wanting new skills. And the teacher's desire alone is really facilitating the success of the residency. You know, when folks are a bit more open and excited about having something new in the classroom, I think there's a bit more of the sort of intrinsic desire to want to continue and want to develop and practice and learn new strategies. Last year, we had a participant in the program mention that this was the best professional development program she has ever gone through. She was going to recommend it to all of her colleagues. And we hope that, you know, many folks, even if it isn't necessarily like the best professional development that you'll ever receive, that it is impactful and that it does give like very pragmatic and useful tools moving into the future. We work with an external evaluator to collect survey data from all of our classroom teacher participants. So we're deeply attuned and engaged with how people are responding to the program, and we want to continue making it better, because at the end of the day, like, our overall common desire is to not just serve students. Yes, we want to be good to the students that we teach, but we also want to be good to our educators, and to give them deeper incentive for wanting to continue on in this profession. Some of my goals for Wolf Trap include There are other Wolf Trap affiliates who are pretty embedded within cultural institutions like museums. It would be great to figure out how to continue envisioning beyond just an early childhood educational site model. So bringing this into museums or daycares or any other sort of like public space that allows for programming. Eventually, you know, there are other Wolf Trap affiliates who are so embedded within their school districts, and our colleagues over in Atlanta, each Atlanta preschool has Wolf Trap, and you know, some teaching artists are full-time Wolf Trap teaching artists. I hope that audiences will understand that not just within Wolf Trap, but funding for the arts is extremely limited, but also extremely necessary. You might be funding someone's like potentially only arts experience in their time moving through a public educational paradigm, program, anything. And it's not just like support doesn't necessarily look like a one-time donation. It might mean like making a sort of lifetime commitment. Mostly I want for people to take away that we are engaged in really important work, but it's not just important, it's also, I mean, joy is also a very important factor throughout life, and especially at that age, I think it's really important to want to give children joyful experiences while also giving early childhood educators that sense of being able to facilitate a joyful experience as well.